Hello. Hello. Take it away.
I kind of like that. Can you do that again?
Great, eh?
Just like we were just in the concert there.
Welcome to the first House of Mouse Expo. You guys having a great time?
Yeah.
Let's hear from Michelle and Scott Atwood.
Yes. Absolutely.
I know you put it off.
I'm really no good at this, obviously.
Okay.
Obviously, these two gentlemen need no introduction.
We're up here by ourselves.
First off, you know him as... You gotta help me out here. Remember, this is my first one. Whoa, there's a throwback. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Marsden. And then we have the one, the only, Disney legend, to the capital L, Mr. Bill Farmer. How many of you ever been in a room with a legend before? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It was my first time yesterday working with Mr. Farmer, first time meeting him, and we shared lots of laughs, and he even showed me some really super.
What you mean,
cool.
yucks?
What's that?
What you mean, yucks?
Yeah, sorry, actually yucks. I didn't want to steal any thunder, but I don't like to sit, by the way, because then you can see how my pouch. So we just, this is a Goofy movie reunion. Have any of you ever seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, a couple of people have. That's always good. It'll make the panel go better if you know what movie we're talking about.
So now you have been real quick. Because I know you guys have tons of questions, so I'm gonna limit my time to talking. And I'm gonna let you do most of the talking because you're really gonna be doing me a real big favor. But Mr. Farmer's been doing the voice of Goofy since
January 23rd of 1987.
That'll make you the
I'm the second official.
Second official?
Pinto Colvig was the first from 1932 until he died in the late 60s. Then it was kind of Goofy du jour for about 20 years.
You want to do it? Okay, I'll do it.
And then in the mid-80s, with the advent of the Disney Channel on television, they heard different Goofies, different Mickeys, different Donalds, and they decided to find one person for each of the main characters. And it just happened to be at the time that I'd moved out. I was a stand-up comic impressionist out of Dallas, and I went to Hollywood because I always wanted to be in movies. And about 5 months later, after I moved there, my agent said, do you do any of the Disney characters? And I said, well, most people can kind of do a Mickey, and mine just, gosh, oh boy, I can kind of do that. And Donald's tough. I know you do a great Donald. I can't enunciate it and go, that's as much as I can do. But of course, Goofy was just my favorite ever since. And out of they got me a cassette of the original Pinto Colvig from old cartoons like Bowfighter and Lonesome Ghost. Cassette's a little tape thing.
Oh, okay.
And I practiced it just over a weekend, laid it down at my agency, and a month later they said that they'd like to use me. Now, one thing that people think that they don't sign you to a long-term contract, you're now the voice forever. One job is all, which I did in January of '87, and then a month or two later they called me to do another one, and another one, and another one, but there's never been a contract with Disney. I'm not a Disney employee, never have been. I'm an independent contractor, all of us actors are. So every job is kind of like you know, you're lucky to get there.
So you're not considered a Disney cast member.
No, I am not.
So you've never gone through traditions.
No,
You've
no.
never had a Disney manager look you up and down to make sure that you were neither of you.
I've had them look me up and down, but it was, I don't know why.
Hold on a second. Now, of course, you know, we all know Goofy and Pluto, but there's a few other characters that were involved in a movie about basketball or something.
Oh yeah, Space Jam. Yeah.
The original. Space Jam.
Look at this, they're monsters. I'll go lay on this big old chicken. So I got to do a few voices over the years. And for Disney, I mean, you know, I've done a bunch of horse collar. We did a movie called Prince and the Pauper, which he hadn't really had a voice before. And I got that audition right on the set. They say, what would this guy sound like? What's he like? Well, he's kind of droll, so I was thinking Jim Backus, kind of like this. And then I was thinking, well, he's very kind of laid back and kind of one note, so I was thinking Bueller, Ferris, and you mix them together, and it came out kind of like this. And that's what was in the movie. And many more like this. Doc of the 7D and Hop of a show called Amphibia, which we have on now. And so, yeah, incidental voices.
I want to circle back to Hop Hop real quick. So this is a new show on
Disney Plus and Disney Channel. We did our third season, and Hop Hop is a patriarchal frog, so I do dogs and frogs. Is my whole group. And it's kind of a Western voice. It's kind of like this. It's kind of based on Ross Perot. It's always good to have kind of a template when you come up with a voice, you know. And that works, and they like that, and so we've been doing that.
And the reason I brought that up is because yesterday, like I said, I had the pleasure of working with you autographs, and there was a little girl, and she was probably maybe 3 years old, and her mother said that she watches that show religiously, and that voice popped out of your mouth, and she just went. And it was just so many great interactions yesterday. So, you obviously have a huge fan base, and you know, you're obviously, again, a Disney legend. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Well, getting Goofy was the first miracle. The second one was selling a show to Disney, which we did in 2019 called It's a Dog's Life. And so that's kind of my show. My wife is an executive producer. I'm an executive producer. A friend, Steve, who was a cameraman on the show The Amazing Race for like 30 seasons. He was the other executive producer. And so we actually got to go around the country. And my son actually helped write and produce the theme song. And so, yes, it's a family affair. And we did 20 episodes in 5 months in 11 states. Yeah, so we were all over finding out about real dogs with jobs, not just animated dogs.
So, Jason, I don't want to ignore you. I mean, you're a... No, you're this guy. You're a, you got a lot of people out here that love you. I love it because I just imagine that they're cheering for me. So, when I was reading the list of everybody, I'm like, oh wow, James Marsden, the guy from Hairspray. And how many times did you get that?
It happens often.
Yeah, it's the first time in my life. Shut up, Michael. Right?
I get his fan mail, and I know James, of course.
You probably get some pretty freaky fan mail.
It's not as magical as mine, definitely, but I'll text him like, hey, I got something for you. And tell him to update your address.
So let's talk a little hocus pocus.
All right. You got it.
All right.
What do you want to know?
What do I want to know?
Yeah.
What do they want to know?
We'll have to ask them.
I'm afraid to lean against the wall.
Can I stand too? That's making me nervous.
Yeah. So, is there going to be a hocus pocus too?
Yeah, there is a Hocus
Oh,
Pocus
there
tape.
is?
Everyone knows that, yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. It's public knowledge. They're shooting it in Rhode Island right now. All the witches are back. Doug Jones is back. I'm not in it. I'm not. No. Here, I didn't sign an NDA, so I'll just tell you what I know, which is public knowledge. But I heard that they did a casting for younger versions of the witches. So I'm guessing it's more like a prequel thing. And from looking at the sets, it looks like it's like a maybe before Big's time. So
Gotcha.
yeah. What else do you want to talk about? Call me James and bring up work that I can't do. What else do you want to talk about? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Because that's really why we're here.
Yes.
Because this is a Goofy movie reunion.
Yes.
So, just what is it like to work with a Disney legend?
Are you kidding?
We really met on a Goofy movie, didn't we?
Well, I actually met you briefly. I was doing the voice of Toon Disney for a second. And you and Wayne and Rusi and Tony all walked in the booth one day, and I knew exactly who y'all were because I was like a Disney nut. And I would get the Disney magazine, and I knew what y'all looked like, so I recognized you instantly, and I introduced myself to you guys. You were very, very nice. And I actually had, I don't even remember this, they were trying to do Disney babies, like Muppet babies.
Yeah.
And I read for Baby Goofy.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I booked it. They actually ended up not doing it, but I made that anecdote to you.
That's why I didn't get it.
I think I mentioned to you, you're like, oh, I got job security, kid, get out of the way. But then, yeah, booked the movie, and that's when we really like solidified the friendship. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
And it messed up my kid like you wouldn't believe. Because he was about 5 when a Goofy movie came out, and people would say, "Oh, is Max your brother? Is Goofy your dad?" I didn't know I had a brother. He's still screwed up because of it.
So how long have you not been a Disney cast member?
I have not been an official Disney cast member for about 35 years. Wow. Yeah. First cartoon I ever did was Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears. I was one of the Cavins. I was the second Cavin because the first one went through puberty and didn't sound like a kid anymore. So I read for that one, and then I think there was a couple more after me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd like to turn it over to some of the folks out here. I bet you they have a lot of questions.
Right? Yeah.
Y'all want to ask us a question?
Love to answer.
So, this guy right here.
Your name is this.
I know this guy right here.
Andy,
Yes?
what's going on? What do you want to know?
What do I want to know? Well, let me see here. Top thing that comes to mind is the Goofy movie. What was your guys' reaction when you got first told that they were going to be doing this project? And like, from there, like I know that you guys met each other for the first time there, but like, what was your reaction and like thoughts of like a Goofy movie? Like, wow, like what's this going to be? Like, you know?
I had done a television series called Goof Troop in the early 90s. First series that I had ever done. And originally it was supposed to be a Goof Troop movie. They did a DuckTales movie based on the series DuckTales. They wanted to do a Goof Troop movie. We had a script. We actually recorded some of it. And then the powers that be said, no, this might have a little bit more legs. So they made it into a buddy-buddy picture. And it was a much longer process than any other project that I had done up to that time. We recorded some of the Goof Troop movie. It all went out the window. So it was just kind of an ongoing process. I recorded on that over 2.5 years. And they would rewrite things and, you know. Then
2.5 years before we started a Goofy movie?
Let me see, Goof Troop was around up to 93, and that's about the time when we actually started doing stuff that would become a Goofy movie. Goof Troop, and then maybe 6-7 months later, now it's a Goofy movie. Or it was the Goofy movie first, and then it was a Goofy movie. And so they went through a lot of changes. Not the least was, you know, they were trying to change my voice.
I remember that, yeah.
Yes, believe it or not, the powers that be thought it would be neat to use a celebrity to do Goofy. So they actually, they auditioned, I think, Jim Varney and Steve Martin. to be Goofy's voice. And then they said, no, we got to have Goofy do Goofy. And then we started, and I met you. We were over at Stage B on the Disney lot, starting to do, scenes together and everything. And they came to me about 3 days after the first week of recording and say, it was Jeffrey Katzenberg who said, Jeffrey thinks you sound too cartoony. It's Goofy. He wants you to record in your own voice, for whatever reason, because it's kind of like Maxie. This is more real. We're taking Goofy into a more real kind of style. And so I actually did several days of recording in my own voice, this voice, no whoosh, nothing like that, just my voice. And I'm going home at night thinking, this is terrible. Don't people want to see Goofy when they hear Goofy, when they go to a Goofy movie? Michael Eisner, Boy Disney, found out what was going on our set. No, don't change the Disney characters. Don't change them. So I re-recorded everything in my voice. They did the same thing to Jim Cummings later on. They thought he was too cartoony. They brought in other actors, round the barn again, to finally let Jim be Jim and Pete in the movie. And it just took a long time, normally a movie like that would be 4 or 5 days of principal recording, a few days of pickups, and I don't know, 40 days or something like that we've done on a Goofy movie over that 2.5-year period till it came out. And thankfully they went around the barn, had to rediscover that, yes, don't mess with the classic Disney characters. It's a movie that is still just amazing to me that people still love.
Yeah, excellent. I have time for a few more questions. Yes?
Can either of you do the perfect cast?
Do the perfect cast?
Gosh, let me see. It was like, all right now, Maxie, here you go. It's like 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I'm a little teapot, tours a day, and then wind up and let her fall.
They should hire you guys to do that for a living.
I'll be on the fishing channel before long.
We have about 10 minutes left, so I know I have, right? Yes, sir.
Was Potato Land everything you dreamt it would be?
That's probably one of the most quoted things. They say, do Potato Land, like, Potato Land, Potato Land, potato. It's a takeoff on Disneyland. They build a land called Potato Land for Goofy overnight. It's a crazy cartoon, and they had so many references to Disneyland. If you see it, you'll recognize all of the jokes that they were going for. And there's a lot of them that didn't make it in the cartoon. They pushed it a little too far, and then they backed off. So they try that on that show. They'll go too far and then see what they can get in and go in weird directions with the character. But yeah, Potato Land's one of my favorites. I got an Annie Award for Goofy's Grandma, which was fun. I did Goofy and Goofy's Grandma on that. And one of my favorites is Wonders of the Deep, where they go down in a submarine and, Pinocchio makes an appearance in the darn thing. So it's kind of weird. But it's a wonderful cartoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Roxanne.
What they say in the movie, Enchanté, mademoiselle.
What was your favorite scene to record for a Goofy movie?
Gosh, well, the first thing I did were the songs, which were terrifying for me. But it's so funny. Some lines take forever. Sometimes any time that I got to work with Jason, doing it back and forth, because most of the time in television series and work, it's solo. I'm just in a booth by myself. But there we got back and forth. That was so fun. And you draw strength from other actors, and you kind of know how to say a line. That helped define the character. And in that movie, we got to bring out more of his nurturing father and worry about Max and emotions that he never had before. And to make that, you know, a part of Goofy's world without losing Goofy was the real challenge. But I love the Lester's possum part. There's a lot of real pathos in it. I mean, he really gets, Max really is mean to Goofy there for a little bit. He's pissed off that, you know, that stupid rat show and all that. And so he's really hurt. Those are actually fun things to play because they're not normally what you do with a character. It's like outside the realm, but you get to, you know, you get to do stuff that normally you wouldn't get to do. Those kind of scenes are great. And also, you know, the line where I got to say, how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon? I did that like 30 times or something like that.
And it's not that you were terrible at it. Everyone were trying to figure out how do you say a line like that. Yeah, you know? I was there that day. I mean, it was exhausting.
It was nuts. Yeah, sometimes you never know. If you've ever been to the show Fantasmic, Wayne did the ending thing as Mickey saying, some imagination, huh? He did that, he told me he did that 86 times, and they used take number 2. They don't know what they're looking for.
The line I remember recording, it was one of my first lines, is when after the song, and before the song, they're arguing in the car, and the car's going over these buttes, is what they call them?
The
staircase.
Is it kind of the cars
Rocks,
crashing
yeah.
down and then going like this?
Yeah, so the line is like, I never want to go on a stupid vacation, and we did it several ways. If I say it, like, I never want to go on a stupid vacation, or like, hit every butte. I never want to go on the stupid vacation, or hit like every syllable. We did this a handful of times. And Kevin Lima, who directed the movie, is ridiculous. He directed Tarzan and Enchanted, and he's amazing. And you can see him. We did a live. Did anyone see the live action Lester Parson Park?
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. You got to see it. And Kevin Lima is the Pat Buttram character in the very beginning with that cowboy hat and whatnot. But I definitely remember you recording how many cups of sugar.
And over. You know, I was dreaming that.
And another one was, well, it's not over yet. Well, it's not over yet. Well, it's not. I mean, over and over again. And it's not that we were doing anything wrong. They just want choices, you know?
Yeah, and they'll find the perfect one that fits.
Yes.
And they took the time to do it right. Whereas in Goof Troop, you do a 43-page script in like 3 hours. And we took the time for 2.5 years over and over again with a movie because it had a lot bigger budget and everything. So you get to explore and do a lot more takes and stuff to get it perfect.
Can I tell you my favorite scene in the movie? Goofy and Pete in the hot tub. I love that scene, and the reason I love it is because it's like, speaking of like not cartoony performances, like it's a grounded conversation between two dads. It doesn't matter that they're dogs, they're cartoons, it was just like a real grounded performance between two guys that the powers that we tried to replace and augment, but it really proved to me, and it proved to everyone, I think, that, you know, cartoony or not, like Bill's an actor, Bill delivered, Jim Cummings, they're actors, they delivered those moments with authenticity and earnestness, you know, without, and still were able to be Goofy and Pete, you know, so that's one of my favorites, and I just love seeing Goofy Pete in the hot tub. It's very visual, you know?
Well, we have to wrap it up here, but before we do, I'm going to put each of you on the spot real quick.
Okay.
I want to know your favorite Disney animated, anything Disney related, animated feature, live action that you are not involved with. What's your favorite that you had nothing to do with?
Aladdin. I saw it 8 times in the theater. That movie rocked my world. Rocked my world! It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
It rocked my world.
That's a great non-animated was one of, when I was a kid, I loved the old Fred McMurray Absent-Minded Professor. I had a chemistry set I tried to make flubber. Never worked. I loved that one when I was a kid. There's a lot of them, and through the years, God, Pinocchio scared the hell out of me. And it Snow White terrified my son. Bring her heart in a box, you know. Oh, geez, okay. You know, that was probably more modern stuff. Probably Little Mermaid.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a privilege to be up here with you, and I know they share the same sentiment. So, ladies and gentlemen.